Thinking of buying a car? What you choose could cost or save you thousands in depreciation. Pops, here are the best and worst vehicles for resale values. You ready?
Yes, indeed. Here we go.
All right, we've broken this down into popular and luxury vehicles. Let's start with popular vehicles, Dad. We're going to start with the best in terms of holding their value. Number 10 on the list, Dad, the Honda Civic. After 5 years in service, the Honda Civic retains 0.2% of its value, man. That's an incredible number, especially when we start to look at some of the worst performing vehicles. And then number 9 is the Toyota RAV4 at 69.4. Number 8 is the Chevrolet Express passenger van at 69.9. So there you go, 8, 9, and 10, all retaining almost 70% of their value after 5 years.
Yeah, that's pretty staggering to be able to know that you have a vehicle that's only going to lose slightly more than 30% of its value in 5 years. I wish everything I owned only depreciated like that.
Number 7 on the list, Dad, the Toyota GR Corolla retains exactly 70% of its value after 5 years. Another Chevrolet on the list, this time a heavy-duty pickup truck, the Silverado 3500 retains 70.1%. And then at number 5, we have the Toyota Tundra, yet another pickup truck at 70.9%. A little bit surprising here. Out of the 6 vehicles that we've mentioned thus far, one's a van and 2 are pickup trucks, which I'm a little bit surprised about. However, the names that we're seeing here, Honda, Toyota, Chevy, not too shocking.
No, and when it comes to heavy-duty pickup trucks, then yes, Chevrolet is going to be in the conversation.
Chevrolet and, as you'll see in a moment here, GMC as well. I think those heavy-duty pickup trucks also perform relatively well because they're used in some commercial settings, so there's additional value there. That being said, number 4 on the list, another Toyota and another pickup, the Tacoma, Dad. It retains 72% of its value after 5 years. And then number 3, let's go through the top 3. The GMC Sierra 3500 heavy duty retains 72.3% of its value. Number 2, the Toyota 4Runner retaining 75.1% of its original value. And number 1 on our list, the Toyota Corolla hatchback retains a shocking 81.8% of its value after 5 years in service. The winner here by a long shot.
Oh, absolutely. That is just unbelievable that vehicle only loses 19% of its original value in 5 years. An incredible champion for value. Unbelievable.
Now, 60% of your best depreciating vehicles, your best resale value vehicles were Toyotas. So keep that in mind here. The top 10 worst vehicles for retaining their value. Number 10, Dad, the Buick Enclave retains 39.7% of its value after 5 years. We're just going to pause here for a moment before we go through the other 9. Stark difference, very stark difference between the best and the worst.
It's almost as if you should drive down the street throwing paper dollars and paper currency right out the window, because basically that's what you're doing.
Interestingly, at number 9 is the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. The reason I say interestingly is because the Jeep Wrangler, when it was an internal combustion engine vehicle, retained its value insanely well. But as you can see here, it retains only 39.5% of its value after 5 years in service. A stark difference from where the Jeep Wrangler used to be on a list like this.
Oh, absolutely. It just points out that in many cases, people weren't ready for electric vehicle versions of popular items.
Now, Dad, for 8 through 6, we have a trio of Nissans. We've got the Nissan Leaf only retaining 37.7% of its value, the Nissan Armada similarly at 37.7%, and then the Nissan Aria, to your point around electric vehicles, at 36.1% of its value after 5 years. Then Stellantis needed to get in on the fun, Dad. We've got 4 Stellantis products leading up to our number 1 worst resale value vehicle. First, Dad, number 5, the Chrysler Voyager retains 35.8% of its value after 5 years. The Dodge Hornet at number 4 retains 35.3%. The Dodge Durango at number 3 retains 35.3% as well. And the Jeep Grand Cherokee, a depreciation king, 32.3%. It loses more than 2/3 of its value in its first 5 years in service.
Yeah, it almost sounds as if as Stellantis and Dodge at this point should just rename this as boat anchors. Here's our best-selling boat anchors based on depreciation.
Number 1 worst resale value vehicle in the United States of America, the Toyota Mirai. It loses 80% of its value in its first 5 years in service. It will be worth 20.6%. So it loses 79.4% of its value in the first 5 years in service. The Mirai is only sold in the state of California. It's a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, all sorts of reasons why it has failed in the United States. And there you go. If you bought a Mirai, there is absolutely zero chance you are happy right now.
Well, you might be happy with the Mirai. You're just not happy with the value of the Mirai.
Dad, let's jump over to luxury vehicles and we'll start worst to best over here. So for luxury vehicles, we're now not looking at those mass market brands. We're looking at their luxury counterparts. Number 10 pops the Alfa Romeo Tonale, retains 33.4% of its value after 5 years. Then the Alfa Romeo Stelvio came in at number 9 at 33.4%. And the Giulia didn't want to be forgotten. It comes in at number 8 at 33.3% of its value being retained after 5 years. I'll run through a few more here. We've got at number 7, the Jaguar I-Pace retains 33.1%. And Infiniti, they got jealous of Nissan over there on the other list. They're at number 6 with the QX80, retaining 30.7% of their value after 5 years. We'll do the top 5 worst resale values for luxury vehicles in a moment. What is your take on these, the bottom 5?
Well, it certainly looks as if Stellantis, who owns Alfa Romeo, is really in the boat anchor business. They might claim to be an automotive, but I'm pretty sure they're realistically in the boat anchor business with a lot of their offerings.
Put your guesses in the comments right now because there's 3 more Stellantis products coming up in just a second. Number 5, the Maserati Quattroporte, Dad. After 5 years, it is only worth 30.1% of its original value. Then at number 4, we have Tesla on here with the Model S, losing over 70% of its value in the first 5 years, coming in at 29.3% after 5 years. The Maserati Grecale is number 3, retaining 25.9% of its value after 5 years, and the Maserati Levante as well at 25.9%. Your big winner, however, Pops, is the Land Rover Range Rover, retaining only 24.4% of its value after 5 years in service.
And you know what's scary about that? That is one of the fastest selling luxury vehicles in the world today. So apparently some folks have way more money than brains when it comes to the vehicles that they choose to drive.
Now, luxury vehicles that retain their value the best, number 10 would be the BMW Z4, retaining 60.3% of its value. Similarly, with the BMW 2 Series, the 230 also retains 60.3%. The Bentley Continental GT retains 61.1% of its value after 5 years. The Cadillac CT4, 61.4%. Then, Dad, you have the Audi Q3 at 62.1%, leading us into our top 5 vehicles that retain their value the best in the luxury category. Lots of Audis you're about to hear on this list. You ready? The Audi A4 Allroad retains 62.6% of its value after 5 years. The Audi S4, 64.7%. The Audi RS6 Avant, my dad's dream car, 67.8%. And the Audi RS Q8, 68% of its value retained after 5 years. Stark difference on this list thus far compared to the bottom of the list where they were retaining, 25% of their value.
And a stark difference between the mass market brands and some of them were retaining upwards of 80% of their value. We don't have any on the luxury side that even hits 70%.
And that leads us to our number 1 best resale value for a luxury vehicle after 5 years. The Lexus RX 350 only retains 69.3% of its value. So Toyota getting lots of love on here. Obviously, Lexus is the luxury version of Toyota, getting lots of love on here, 69.3%. It's worth mentioning, Dad, all of this data, we're going to link to it in the description down below, or you can Google search best resale value ranks CarEdge. We can break this down not only by luxury vehicles and popular vehicles, best and worst, but also over a 3-year time period, 5-year time period, and 7-year time period. So please, folks, use this information before you go and buy a vehicle. And Dad, can you just take a second? Why is this information so valuable and necessary? People don't typically think about this stuff, correct?
Well, the depreciation is one of the biggest portions of ownership, cost of ownership. So let's face it, if you're going to buy a depreciating asset, which is what many people consider an automobile to be. And automobiles are not assets, but that's a way it's often described. Well, you want to buy the ones that depreciate the least, not the most. The Range Rover depreciates the most. The Toyota Corolla hatchback depreciates the least. So what do you want to get the best value for your money? And the way you control that is by understanding how much that item is going to depreciate over time.